Hey y'all, happy wine and design. Cheers. Okay, so I want to talk about something that I think really trips a lot of people up, and that is styling. We all have a lot of bookcases in our houses, plus there are nightstands and end tables and coffee tables, on and on and on. And it's a matter of finding the right pieces for that space. But then, even when you have that, how you do it. And it can be something hard to describe because it's more of a process than a formula. Now, yes, you can search on Pinterest and Google, and you'll find a lot of tips and quote rules. But in my opinion, there are not rules, there are some guides, and I'll give you some that I like to use. The first step in styling anything is to take everything off of the coffee table, take everything out of the bookcases. Even if you think, no, I know I definitely want this vase on this shelf, take it off anyway because you may change your mind once it's all done. It may end up right where you wanted it, but start with a clean slate. And beyond that, you do get to wipe everything down, clean it all off. So it is literally a clean slate. So you want to edit everything out. And then when you start adding things back in, you start with the larger items and you start thinking about a focal point. And most often that focal point is a larger piece. So that's another reason I recommend starting with the larger piece. And you can use, a large bowl or a vase, or something that I really like doing in bookcases is if you have smaller works of art that you can have, leaning against the back of a bookshelf, or even on an easel on a nightstand or a side table. That's something people a lot of times just think of art hanging on walls, but there are other great ways to display it too. So you're going to start with the larger piece and or the focal point piece, and then you're going to start adding in the smaller items and the different heights, because the key to styling is adding interest with varying heights and varying weights of things. So you don't want to have a shelf with just really massive pieces or heavy seeming pieces, or something that's just all glass accessories and vases, because that just is like decorating with air. So you want to vary the heights, vary the subjects, vary the depths also. So this is particularly comes into play when you're talking about bookcases. You don't want everything just all up front or all up back or all back. So that's when you can lean a piece of art in the back, and then up front maybe have some books with a small accessory on top. So then you've got all the variation and adding interest with that. I mentioned books. Books are very important. You cannot have enough books, and that's for any surface that you're decorating. Even if you're decorating kitchen countertops, it's nice to have a stack of cookbooks. But that, again, adds interest and allows you to vary different heights, because a lot of times with accessories, they end up all being approximately the same size. So with this, you're able to add the height differences. So look at my notes. Edit. Start with a focal point, then start varying things by height, by depth, by weight of the item. The one outlier to that variation is if you have a great collection of things. So if you have a lot of blue porcelain, for example, it's more impactful if you group it together. If there are things that you have collected traveling, those are great grouped together. Another way that I like to do this grouping is with family photographs. So family photographs can end up making spaces look a little cluttered. And because there can be a lot of different color variation in the photos, a lot of times people use different looks of frames. And so it just makes it look, well, cluttered. So what I love to do is find a piece of furniture, whether that be a console or a chest in your home, and grouping all the family photos there, uniting them with all similar photo frames. So I love to use silver ones, and I don't necessarily mean sterling silver. You can go to Home Goods and get some nice silver plated ones, but that unites everything. And it's also fun when people are looking at your pictures, they're going to stand and look all in that spot instead of trying to search through all of the bookcases to see everyone's pictures. So that's just a little tip I use. So edit, vary, and then group things together. Also, don't forget the blank spaces. So you don't want to just cram so much on there so it looks like you're shopping at Home Goods and you've jammed every bit of accessory that you have out there. Don't forget the voids. Those are just as important. If you are living in more of a modern home, you're going to have less styling, less accessories. More traditional leans more full, but it does not mean it's just overcrowded. And that is probably the second biggest mistake that I see people making, and that's in just over styling and making it look too crowded or too contrived. So like I said, it's a process. It is not just, I found this, great look in the Pottery Barn catalog and I'm just going to replicate it. When you're doing it, make sure that it's something that is appealing to you. I talk a lot about personalizing spaces. This is a great area to do it. So make it look intentional and not contrived. Make it look casual and lived in and not so staged. Another thing that I see a lot of mistakes is, like I was saying, the everything all on one level, and just no varying in it. Hope that helps. So to break it down again, take everything off the whatever piece of furniture or shelves that you're styling, take it all off, edit it, then you start layering back in with the focal point or the larger items. You're going to vary heights, and don't forget to use your books to do that too. Don't forget the blank spaces. And the most important tip to this is, once you've done it, walk away. Walk away for a while, then come back, look at it, and see if there are any changes that need to be made. Because a lot of times when you're so in it, you can't see what needs to be taken away. And I like to think back to, I'm sorry if you're hearing my dog snoring. I like to think back to what Coco Chanel said about getting dressed. And that was, get dressed, get all your accessories on, and then take one thing off before you leave your house. So the same thing with styling. Get it all styled, look at it, and then remove one thing to keep it from looking so overstyled. All right, that's it. Y'all have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you next. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.